What is up, bros and broettes? I'm Inkslasher, and today we're going to be doing another episode of Versus. What is Versus, you ask? It's a series where we put two weapons, or sometimes other things, head-to-head to make you a better Call of Duty player. We look at stats and other things like that, and it gives you a really good idea of what things are better than other things in the game of Call of Duty. Now, today's episode has been one of the most requested, and let me tell you, is going to be one of the best I've ever created, because honestly, this is going to show you a perfect example of how Call of Duty and Treyarch like to do their weapon balancing. Today we're going to be looking at the FFAR, the newest DLC assault rifle, versus the HVK-30, one of the fan favorite assault rifles in Black Ops 3. And let me tell you, we are in for a treat today. But before we get into that, I'd just like to say thank you so freaking much. The amount of support that has been on all of the last videos is outstanding, like beyond what I've ever expected on YouTube, and I just want to thank you guys so much. You have been helping the channel grow so much, and honestly, guys, I'm next to speechless with the amount of support you've shown the amount of likes, the amount of comments, the amount of amazing things you guys have done to help me out on YouTube. I cannot thank you guys enough, so thank you so much. The channel's growing so quickly, and all I can do is thank you guys for that. So keep liking those videos, commenting, letting me know what you guys think of all the videos. It's really greatly appreciated. But enough of the sappy stuff, just thank you guys so much. Let's get into talking about the stats on these weapons, though. So with these two weapons, I said it was going to be an amazing comparison, and the main reason for this is the damage profile on these two weapons. So with the damage profile for both weapons, it's 30 damage up close, 29 at mid-range, and 22 at long range. Now this ranges from a 4 to a 5 bullet kill, and for both weapons is actually the worst damage profile out of any of the assault rifles. In fact, what makes this even more amazing is the ranges on both of these weapons are exactly the same. Really, all you need to know as far as the ranges go is it drops off from a 4 to a 5 bullet kill at 50 meters dead on for both weapons, exactly the same. So as far as ranges and damage profiles go, we simply cannot give any points for that because they're exactly the same on both weapons. So this is where things start to get interesting, because up till now these weapons are exactly the same. They start to get different when we start to look at the rate of fire. Now both of these two weapons are the number 1 and 2 for rates of fire in class. They're the best two. So the rate of fire for the FFAR is 800 RPM, where the rate of fire for the HVK-30 is 722 RPM. Now this is where things start to get obviously very different, because obviously we got to give +1 point to the FFAR, and it takes the lead 1-0 because it has the faster fire rate. But this really gets interesting when we start to look at the time to kill, because obviously if the damage profiles are exactly the same, no difference, but one has a faster fire rate, the one with the faster fire rate is going to have a better time to kill. In fact, the time to kill difference, the average time to kill for the HVK is 0.31 seconds. The average time to kill for the FFAR is 0.28 seconds. So very different. There's a 0.03 seconds difference, which is actually an incredibly big deal. This is literally something you can notice in game. I started off with, last night with playing with the HVK, did pretty well, switched over to the FFAR, and instantly I could notice there was a faster time to kill. Like, this isn't something that's just a number stat that you're never going to notice. Seriously, if you have these weapons, give it a shot. You'll instantly notice that the FFAR has a faster time to kill. So obviously, +1 point for that, but I'm not done talking about time to kill. So normally when talking about time to kill, there will be, with most weapons, one weapon will have a better time to kill at short range and long range, and the other weapon will have a better time to kill at middle range. So there'll be like this one range where one weapon will have a better time to kill than another weapon. For example, if we compare the KN-44 to the Man of War, the KN-44 has a faster time to kill up close and at long range, where the Man of War has this mid-range of about 30 to 40 meters in game, where it actually has a better time to kill. These two weapons, since they have the exact same damage profiles and exact same ranges, the time to kill on the FFAR is actually better at every single range, and this is a massive deal. This very rarely happens in this game, where every single range a weapon has a better time to kill. So for example, at short range it's better by 0.02 seconds. At middle range, it's better by 0.03 seconds, and at long range, it's better by 0.04 seconds. So it just keeps getting better the further and further away you get. But for this, really, I should give out 3 points to the FFAR because it's better at every single range, but I'm not going to do that. We'll just give out 1 more point, and obviously, it's taken a very strong lead at 3-0. So as of right now, you're probably thinking, what the hell is this guy going on about? He told me this was going to be a close episode. It was going to be an excellent episode talking about weapon balance. And it is. This is where it turns around. It turns around when you start to talk about the small stats, the itty-bitty stats, the Peter Dinklage stats, all of those little things. This is where it starts to turn around, and you're going to see that very, very soon. So when we look at something like the magazine size, just so happens on both of these weapons, it's exactly the same at 30 rounds in a magazine. However, we start to see a difference when we look at the reload speed. Now, the reload speed for the FFAR is 2.5 seconds when there is bullets still in the magazine and 3.2 seconds when the magazine is empty. Compared to the HVK, that's 2.03 seconds with bullets still in the magazine and 2.8 seconds when it's empty. So this is like a half a second difference when there's bullets still in the magazine. And let's face it, most of the time when we reload, we still have bullets in the magazine. This is a huge difference. Like, this is right away very, very noticeable. Half a second is actually a really long time to wait for that weapon reloading. That's why when I use the FFAR, you almost need fast mags on there, because with a fast firing assault rifle, you're going to want to get into gunfight after gunfight after gunfight and be a fast moving weapon, almost like an SMG. But when there's that slow reload time, you're going to get caught with your pants down a lot. So this is a big deal, and for that, the HVK gets plus 1 point. Now, next up, we are going to be looking at aim down sights time. And again, we see the same kind of trend. When we look at the FFAR, it aims down sights in 0.3 seconds. And with the HVK, we're looking at 0.25 seconds. Now, this is a pretty big deal because when looking at stats, one of them takes a third of a second and one of them takes a quarter of a second. That's a big difference, and again, is 100% noticeable in-game. So for that, the HVK gets plus 1 point. And one thing you're going to notice about the FFAR is all of the movement stats are very slow. So like the reload speed, aim down sights time, those are all slower than something like the HVK. And it's definitely noticeable. As soon as you pick up that FFAR, you're going to notice your movements seem a little bit slower, when in reality, it's just like your aim down sights time, your reload speed, all of those things. Another stat we can look at is the hip spread. The hip spread for the FFAR is a minimum of 3 inches, so that's like when you're not moving or crouched or something like that, and a maximum of 8 inches. Where if we look at the HVK actually has the best hip spread in class of 3 inches when not moving or at a minimum, and only 5 inches at a maximum. That's why the hip fire for the HVK is actually very, very good. So for that, HVK plus 1 point, and look at that, just like that plain, that simple, that easy. By looking at the Peter Dinklage stats, we can see that these weapons are tied up. So if you guys are used to the series, the one stat we have left to talk about is the accuracy. Now, I almost never give out points for accuracy, and it's going to be no exception today. Accuracy is completely based on personal preference. I've said it before, I'll say it again. People always say it in the comments. Accuracy very rarely matters. There are those weapons that have a huge amount of recoil. This is really not one of them. A lot of people will say the FFAR has a lot of recoil. Trust me, either put the boa sight on or the Varix. That recoil is almost nothing compared to what it was before. These weapons both have a little bit of recoil. It's not a big deal. Nothing worth giving out points for. Now, I don't leave these things at ties. If you know one thing about me, it's that I try to never leave these versus episodes as ties. So how am I going to whittle this down? If we've looked at all of the stats, what can I give out stats for? And I can't give out any more stats, so this part right here is based on personal preference. A big warning, this is my opinion. If you choose to agree with me, if you don't, let me know down in the comment section below. But here is why I am giving the final point to the FFAR, and here is why alone. All of the stats that are better on the FFAR, i.e. the rate of fire and the time to kill, is something that can simply not be beat by the HVK. Even if you put rapid fire onto the HVK, the fire rate of 800 of the FFAR, the HVK is only at 769 RPM when rapid fire is put on, so still less than that FFAR. So what this means is that the other stats that the HVK has better than the FFAR can be fixed on the FFAR. For example, reload speed, put fast mags on. Aim down sights time, put quick draw on. All of these things can be improved on the FFAR, whereas the things that need to be improved on the HVK simply just can't match those things on the FFAR. And that is why I truly consider the FFAR to be the better weapon and the winner of this week's Versus. Also, that time to kill stat being better at every single range is huge. It's a massive, massive difference. But let me know which one of these you prefer. Let me know if you've even got the FFAR down in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Let me know down in the comment section below what you thought of it, what you want to see as the next episode, all that kind of things. And if you've made it this far in the episode, it'd be super, super greatly appreciated if you could leave a like rating. It really does help with the channel. You guys have been really amazing with that lately, so thank you very, very much. So check out my Twitter, Twitch, down in the description. I am actually going to be streaming tonight. You can check that out on Twitch. That link is down below. Also, I always tweet out when I'm streaming, so between the two, whether you follow me on Twitch or Twitter, you'll always know when I'm streaming. But thank you everyone who came out and watched the video. I hope you enjoyed. I love every single one of you, except for Eddie. He's the kind of guy that always wants to like one up your story. If you tell a story about like going to school or work and having some sort of examination, being like, yeah, dude, I got 100%. He's like, fuck, man, you didn't get the bonus rate. Yeah, we don't like Eddie, but everyone else, we love you. Thanks for watching, and until next time, peace out.